Hi everyone, welcome on Erratic Coder. In this video, we'll have a look on keywords in Golang. So the first thing that arises in our mind, what is keyword? The creators of any programming language use some words and they have restricted the use of those words. So basically, keywords are some reserved keywords that are used in a programming language for a specific purpose, for a specific task. Every keyword is a part of programming syntax, so we cannot use those keywords according to our need. Keywords are used for a specific task as they have already defined in a particular programming language. So let's start with the keywords. In Golang we have 25 keywords. Here is the list of all the Golang keywords. If you want to check the complete list of Golang keywords, please check out the link given in the description box. So in one of our previous videos, we learned how to write Golang first program and how to run it in a very simple way. So here is that program. In this program, we have already used three keywords: package, import and func. Let's start with these three keywords: package, import and func. So package keyword has a special purpose in Go programming. Package keyword specifies the package in which this particular source code exists. This particular source code comes in. As here we have used package main, that is an entry point of any Go executable program. So this statement tells the compiler that this particular source code comes in main package, and that specifies that this is an executable program, this is not a shared library. So this is the use of package keyword. Next keyword is import. So import keyword is used to include any shared library in our executable program. As here we are using a println function, but this println function exists in an FMT library. So to use this println function, first we have to include the FMT library, and to include FMT library in our program, we use import keyword. So here we are using import keyword with the package name that we want to include in our program. Next keyword is func. Func stands for a function. Here we are creating a function main. So here is the syntax to create a function. We start with the keyword func that declares a function. This func keyword is followed by a function name main. Let's start with another keyword. The other keyword is var. So var starts for a variable. Variable is used to hold any kind of information. It could be numeric information or data, it could be a string data, it could be float, double, integer, any type of the value variable can hold. So suppose we have a value 10 and we are storing this value to a variable. We can say the name of the variable is name underscore var, and how the compiler will identify that this is a variable. Here the use of var keyword comes in. So here we have created a variable that contains the value 10. Here we'll try to print the value of this variable. If you guys don't know how to write a Golang first program or how to run a Golang simple program, then check out our previous videos where we have described the Golang first program. So for now, we are going to print the value of this variable. And here is our output, hello world, and the name and the value of the variable is 10. Okay, so the next keyword is const. So const is somehow similar to a variable. Constant is also used to hold any type of the value. The syntax is also same. Suppose we want to save a value 10 again, and the name of the constant is name const that contains the value 10. But how the compiler will understand this is a constant? By using const variable. So here we use the const variable with the following constant name. As you can see, the syntax is almost same as the variable, but the keyword is different. Here we have used var, and here we are using const keyword. Let's print this value const. Okay, so difference between the variable and the constant is that we can change the value of a variable throughout the program, but we cannot change the value of a constant in our program. Suppose at some time I wanted the value of name var as 11, then I can change it. If I am assigning the value to name var to a variable, then it will not throw an error, but it will show the updated value here, as it's showing 11 the value of a variable and 10 as a constant. But if I try to change the value of a constant, then it will throw an error. Okay, so it is throwing an error. It is saying cannot assign to name constant because we have already assigned a value to a constant. So once we have assigned the value to a constant, we cannot change its value throughout the program, but we can change the value of a variable in our program. So this is the major difference between a variable and the constant. The next keyword is type. As in our previous video, we saw some data types that we have in Golang. That is basically the primitive and the non-primitive. In primitive category, we have integer, float, double, and in non-primitive category, we have arrays, we have a structure, and some others. So here, with the use of type keyword, we are creating a custom data type. By using type keyword, we are creating a custom type here that is indirectly an integer type. So the syntax to creating a custom type is that we are using type keyword here. We are giving the name of a custom data type. It could be anything as you want. And here the existing data type comes in. It could be integer, structure, or whatever type of data or whatever data type you want to use. It could be. Now here I create a custom type that is basically of type integer. Now I will create a variable that would be of custom type. The name of the custom type variable is custom type, and here I will define its data type, that is a custom data type that we have just created, and what type of value it will contain. As the basic type of this custom type is integer, then it will hold the integer value only. Suppose we are assigning the value 20 here, and now I will just printing the value of this custom type variable. Okay. Okay, so the previous error was same. You were trying to assign the value to a constant. Okay. So here this is our variable constant and the last value is our custom type value. So this is the use of the type keyword. By using type keyword, we are creating the custom type that could be a primitive data type or a non-primitive data type. The next keyword is struct. So in non-primitive data type, we saw that there is a data type structure. The struct stands for a structure. A structure is basically the combination of multiple primitive data types. It could be the combination of two or more integers. There could be a combination of two or three integers, two or three float values, or string values. Basically, this is a combination of multiple primitive data types. So the syntax to create a structure is that type, because here we are again creating a type here. We are creating a custom type that is in origin of type struct. So I will use the struct keyword here. The struct keyword here tells the compiler that the following is a declaration of a structure. Here I am creating a value a that is of type integer. I am creating the second value that is of type string, and the next value I am taking is of type float. So here we have created a custom type that is in origin is of type structure. Now I will create a variable struct var that is of type custom type struct. Now I will try to print the value of this struct var. As of now, we have not assigned any value to this structure variables, so it will show us the default values. Let's see what are the default values here. Okay, so this is our structure. For int it took 0 as a default value, for string it's blank, and for float value it's 0. Okay, so by using struct keyword we are creating a structure data type. The type keyword, again the type keyword is used for created a custom data type that in origin could be of integer type, float type, or any structure, array, whatever it could be. And here by struct keyword we have created a structure. I hope everything is understood. The next keyword is map. So map is nothing but it is a collection of key value pairs where the values are accessed by using keys. So map keyword is used to declare a map data type. Suppose the name of map is name underscore map. We are declaring the map by using make keyword. So here I am using the map keyword that indicates a map, but this structure doesn't specify the data type of keys and the data type of values. So in this square brackets we'll specify the data type of keys. Suppose I am saying the data type of keys is string, and here I will specify the data type of values. Suppose the type of the values is integer. As of now we don't have any value in map. Let's try to print the value of a map. Okay, so by default map is blank, it doesn't contain any value. We have used the map keyword to create a map that tells the compiler that the following signature is a declaration of map. The next keyword is interface. So the interface is a custom data type that is a collection of one or more method signatures. As here we saw that this is a collection of multiple data types. Similarly, interface is a collection of multiple methods. In interface, we are not giving the definition of the method, but we are providing only the declaration of the methods. As I told you that interface is a custom data type, so whenever we are talking about the custom data type, the first thing we have to remember that we have to use type keyword, because by using type keyword we are creating custom data type. So type the name of the interface. Suppose the name of the interface is name underscore interface, and here I will use the keyword interface. The syntax is almost similar to this structure. Here we have used type keyword, the name of the structure, and the struct keyword. Here the same syntax we are using, type, the name of the interface, and the interface keyword. This is a collection of multiple data types, but this is a collection of multiple functions. Suppose I'm just saying the name of the function is fun1 and the name of the other function is fun2. That's it. So this is all about the interface, but for now this is enough to understand the use of keyword interface. Let's coming back to the next keyword, if. By using if keyword we give some type of the condition to the compiler that need to be executed. I have a condition that 0 is greater than 1. How this expression needs to be evaluated by using if keyword. If 0 is greater than 1, then it will follow this block. Suppose here I am saying if 0 is greater than 1, then it will print yes. Okay, let's run this program. It doesn't print yes because obviously 0 is not greater than 1. Suppose I have changed the symbol. Now I am saying if 0 is less than 1, then it needs to be print yes. Okay, so here the output is as it is we want it. The compiler, if keyword is used, if keyword tells the compiler that there is a condition that needs to be evaluated. If the condition is true, then it will follow the block, it will follow the statements that comes within the block. The next keyword is else. Else keyword is used with if keyword. If the condition given with if keyword is wrong, then it comes with the else keyword. As I told, that else keyword is used with if keyword, so I'm just saying else this. If the condition followed by if keyword is not true, then it will come to the else block. As here I am saying, if 0 is less than 1, then it prints yes, otherwise it will print no here. Right? So here, as I'm saying, as I can see that the condition is true, so obviously it will follow the if block. I am again changing the symbol here. Now the condition says 0 is greater than 1. It is absolutely wrong. So it will follow the else loop. Fine. No here. Till now we have learned these keywords: package, import, func, where, const, type, struct, map, interface, if and else. The other keywords we'll cover in our next video. Stay tuned. Happy learning.